Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith. I'm excited today to begin a little bit of a marathon of unboxing for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare miniatures game. That's right, this one we did during Gen Con, where I did a unboxing of the 2-player core set, which is actually essentially a 1-player set as well, because this can be played solo. Really excited for that. It's basically a starter set that was made in plastic, but what you're going to see here as we go through this is a lot of resin characters, which is really cool. Even this one here you're seeing in front of you says Red Rocket and resin components inside. So this is a specific Red Rocket scenic set. It's one of the things I'm going to be showing you during this unboxing video, along with a number of others like this glorious pile of Fallout. Now isn't this crazy? This is all from the very first wave that was launched by Modiphius, and of course the first wave is always the most insane, as there's a lot of content that needs to come out of the gate in order to make an all-around game in terms of multiple different factions to choose from and things like that. And we all know from the Fallout IP there are many different factions in the world, and those are all going to become flushed out as this miniature game goes along and matures over time. So this video is going to focus on showing you what's inside each of these boxes. Oh right, and then there's this pile of stuff as well, these clamshell boxes that are full of things like the Wasteland Warfare promo Nuka-Cola girl. We've got ourselves a Death Claw. We've got ourselves some rad scorpions, a behemoth, rad roaches, turrets, and some feral ghouls. So if you're interested in picking one of them up, or some of them up, or all of them up, that you'll know exactly what you're getting before you get into it. So let's crack open these things one at a time. So the very first one we're going to rip into is the Red Rocket Scenic Set. And it says right up here, includes the Wasteland gaming mat. Also contains pre-painted, clipped together Red Rocket and resin components. Let's take a look at the back of the box as well. The back of the box says, in Fallout Wasteland Warfare, players will build their own crew from a wide range of factions, allies, and iconic characters from the Fallout series, and play in apocalyptic games of 3 to 30 high-quality 32mm scale resin miniatures through a huge variety of iconic scenery and settlement buildings, from the Red Rocket to Sanctuary Hills, Nuka-Cola, vending machines, and wrecked cars. This Fallout Wasteland Warfare scenic set contains a pre-printed clipped-together Red Rocket designed by Battle Systems, fully compatible with their full range of scenery. They have some fantastic scenery, by the way. Resin components require some assembly and are supplied unpainted. So, without further ado, I think we need to find out what this stuff looks like inside the box. So we're going to go ahead and remove the wrap. Alright, so to say I'm excited to open this up is very much an understatement. I cannot wait to see what this Red Rocket scenic set looks like inside. So let's go ahead, remove the top of the box. Alright, so we're going to start it off here with, that's actually really cool. So just right off the hop here, we've got ourselves some foam basically keeping the resin pieces, or the Red Rocket itself, in place. It's taped well, so they're not going to go anywhere during transit. So let's go ahead here and remove that section if I can. Maybe actually it's easier to grab the mat. Let me do the mat first. The mat actually takes up a large portion of the box. So in a second here, I'm going to pull this mat, and I'm also going to lay it out for you guys so you can see the whole thing on the board. For now, I'll just focus on the rest of the box. So again, as I mentioned, we got the resin pieces here buried inside, so that keeps them very protected, which is awesome. So we'll go ahead and take the pieces of tape right off and take a look at these individually. So here is the resin rocket. That actually looks really good. Lots of detail on that too. That looks fantastic. So again, it comes unpainted, of course. You're going to have to paint these yourself, but full resin. So has a nice solid build to it. Then we've got these two other pieces, and I believe, not 100% sure what these are. Ah yes, we got like, okay, so some resin scenery basically that goes along with the gas station, which makes perfect sense. So there we go. Let's get that to focus. There we go. So some resin pieces there. So pretty awesome. Go ahead and flip these over to see if there's any differences in the back. Yep, there's a little bit of a different sculpt on the back side as well. And these will sit upright as well during gameplay, which is great. So we'll put those just off to the side. Okay, so going further into the box here, now I'm familiar with this. You guys may not be. This might look weird and foreign to you, but this is the way Battle Systems products come. They basically come in punchboard and with these really interesting hard, I don't know how else to describe them, hard plastic, I believe, clips. And these clips are what's used to actually get these walls clipped together. And you also, they're modular, so you can pull them apart, change the orientation of them, mix it up and all that kind of stuff. But of course, with this particular set, you're going to want to build it as is because it's the Red Rocket Scenic set. But if you buy their Battle Systems range of apocalyptic urban terrain, you can do whatever you want with it. It really allows for a lot of customization. So going ahead here, knocking out the back of the box, that's all that's actually left inside. So what you're going to get is a number of boards, which are going to be specific to the Red Rocket. And of course, this is what you're going to use to actually create that Red Rocket Scenic set. The coolest part about this, no painting required. Literally rip the wrapper off, start tearing out those particular pieces, building that set, and not have to worry about painting a single thing. So now taking a closer look at the boards here, we're going to go through these one at a time. So this is going to be just a rough idea of what these boards look like. There's going to be a little bit of shimmer just from the light, but hopefully you guys will be okay with that. And this is just going to give you a rough idea of what it looks like. Of course, it'll look a lot better when it's put together. But we'll go through each of these sheets individually. So you can see even the floor itself is going to have a really nice structure to it. It's going to be all paint. Well, it's not painted, but it's going to be finished and ready to play the second you build this thing together. You'll see up in the very top left-hand corner, it says Fallout. Over here in small writing, it says Bethesda Softworks. So all this stuff is been signed off by the IP holders and things like that that it follows the standards and the look and feel of Fallout. So that's pretty awesome. And everything's labeled nicely. So it says roof and floor right here. Down here it says roof canopy for this strip right here. Off screen, what you guys can't see is there's a section here for some crates, which I'm actually familiar with from another set that I have from them. And if I flip this over on its other side, you'll notice that there's a completely different look on that side too. So those are likely, I'm actually not too sure if you get to choose which of the lower floors you want to have for a look, or if one pertains to a different level or not. But I do know that the Red Rocket is all on the ground because it's a gas station. I don't believe there's a second level, but who knows. So here's another one, another roof and floor, but it does say roof and floor. So this looks to me like the roof. It's actually kind of tough to tell whether it's the roof or the floor. Probably a little bit tough. This looks like the roof more so, but I could be totally wrong there. So we're going to go ahead here and just take a look. This is exactly the same punch board as the last one, so I'll just kind of move right past that one. Here we go. Now we're going to do some really specific stuff, and yes, I was right. This is the roof, the one that looks like this, because it just blends in with all the outdoor material. You've got the Red Rocket sign itself. Of course, just like the classic game, it has all of the different letters here. So some of them are highlighted and some of them are dead. Some of them have fallen off. You've got arms here for holding up the power armor, all that kind of stuff. You can have exact same feel as you felt during Fallout 4, I guess, for most of us that are that have played that one, and I'm assuming that the majority of us have. And then another one of these. So there's going to be two sides, I believe, to some of this stuff. So that's why there's duplicates, plus there's additional... Oh, that's kind of cool, actually. So we got some like barriers, armor station, we got a hall, doorway area here, stuff like that. So this shouldn't actually take too long to put together. There's only about, what is that? That is a total of 5 punch boards to go through. And you're going to use these clips right here in order to get them all together. You'll see there's different angles to some of them. Some of them are like straight 90 degrees. Some of them are kind of tilted on a 45. Some of them are kind of a T intersection, essentially. So you're going to use all of these to basically get this thing built. And at the end of the day, if you have something that looks like this, then you've successfully built yourself the Red Rocket Scenic set. So that's a good inside look at this particular box, except for the playmat. So I'm going to go ahead now and unveil that on the table, and we'll see how much I can cover, because this thing is likely quite large. All right, here's a top-down look at the 3x3 playmat, the 3-foot by 3-foot playmat for this particular game. There's a lot of detail here, and I'm very far away from this mat as it sits literally on the floor because it's so large in terms of width that it doesn't fit on the table that I currently have it on. However, when we do a gameplay of this one, I will have it on a table that is 3x3 for sure, but as of right now, this one actually goes quite a bit over that. So I wanted to show you guys a full top-down look at the detail of this particular playmat, and even let you know that some of this is actually off screen as well, so I have to actually tilt this down just so you guys can see the rest of it. But it is a large playmat, and you can see here that the red rocket would sit just down off of where the street starts to die into the sand or desert terrain. So you basically put your red rocket scenic set right there and have a full 3D, well, I guess it looks 3D from here, kind of map on the ground, which is fantastic for any miniatures game. And of course, you're going to want to spice it up with your own scenery and things like that. But again, always awesome to have a nice neoprene mat to go along with a scenic set. So after taking a look at that huge neoprene mat, which of course is a 3x3, we're now going to look at something that's much smaller than that, and it comes down to one of the most valuable things in the Fallout universe, and that's Nuka-Cola caps. These are actual bottle caps for the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game. You can use them as currency, and you also gain them as currency throughout your adventures. But just before I cut into that box, I want to show you guys the back so you understand exactly what's inside of it before we dive in. 50 Nuka-Cola bottle caps are inside of this, one exclusive bottle cap mine card for use in Fallout Wasteland Warfare, and then we also get some stickers for customizing the Nuka-Cola bottle caps for use in the game. And you'll see what those look like, but basically on the underside of the bottle cap, you're able to stick some stickers to be used as objective markers or different things within the game for particular scenarios, which I think is a really cool way of using them in another capacity. So let's find out what these things actually look like up close. So once you've opened up the package, you're going to see the insert at the back. Be 100% careful you do not cut the back of this, because there are cards as well as a sticker sheet underneath this thing. You do not want, or inside of it I should say, and you don't want to cut through it. Also, of course, the best part about it is some Nuka-Cola caps. They look and feel amazing. So first off, they feel exactly like you'd expect. They're actual bottle caps. Now these bottle caps also have the Nuka-Cola symbol right on the cap itself, and then if you flip it over, you'll even see that there's some wear and tear to it as well. So they're designed really well. They look completely legit, and when you flip them over, they've got a flat back so you can stick that sticker in there in order to use them for other means. But again, when you're playing the game, I don't know, there's just something about having bottle caps in Fallout just makes it feel so much more legit. And that's 50 of them in this pack. I actually like them so much that I picked up a second pack because I can even use them in other games that are for Fallout. So again, we open up the inside of this particular cap set, and you'll see we've got ourselves an item card here. So this is going to be an item that's going to be for a bottle cap mine, of course, because that just makes perfect sense. So we've got a bottle cap mine here, and this is a card for that. We'll talk more about that when we actually get into a playthrough later on. And then we've got those sticker sheets we were talking about. So a couple sticker sheets if you want to go ahead and put stickers on the back side of them, or maybe you don't. Maybe you don't want to do that at all, but you have the option, and that's what's important with this one. So that's the inside of the Nuka-Cola caps set. The next item in the product line is the extra dice set, which is going to simply give you another set of the core dice you would receive inside the 2-player starter set. So we're going to go ahead and we'll just tear right into this one. Inside the pack of this one is simply just dice. No additional cards or anything like that. So this is just going to give you some more dice to be able to roll during particular rolls within Wasteland Warfare, whether you're playing solo or with somebody else. Next, we're going to dive into one of these medium-sized boxes. This contains 32mm scale, high-quality, multi-part resin miniatures. You might be wondering exactly what's in this box. If we flip it over to the back side, it has a UPC code on it that says right here, 2-player starter models collector's resin set. So this is going to basically take what's in the typical retail starter set, which is you can get those ones that are in plastic. This will also give individuals a resin set to swap out with, because, of course, the entire Fallout Wasteland Warfare line is in resin after you get past that starter set. So this is a way of getting your complete set in resin. So with the box unwrapped and the side open, we're going to go ahead and take a look at what's inside of this thing. All right, we got ourselves the resin pieces. Now this is going to be really cool because these are going to be such a great upgrade over what was inside the plastic version or the starter set. So you're going to have all the same characters, but of course you're going to have the resin in this case. So again, everything's going to be way up in terms of quality and detail. Even through the plastic alone, you can see the detail has gone quite up from the plastic versions. So you can take a look at this one here. Look at these things. They look awesome. I love the fact that the bases still have a lot of detail. It's one of the coolest things. The Super Mutants. looking pretty amazing. I actually have this one already because I had that one as a prototype sent to me. Not a prototype, but as kind of a teaser for the product line that they were doing, which was kind of cool. So these guys here, like, again, you have to build them, but the building of them is very minor. You just clip off with some, you need basically some scissors for cutting off miniatures. Very, very easy cutting them off at the points where their feet are connected. You might have to connect an arm or two. That's about it. And then you just basically glue in they've got holes inside the base itself where the feet will sit. So it's actually not that hard. It may look like, oh no, you've got to assemble all this stuff. It's going to take hours on end. It's nothing like that at all. And here's dog meat as well. So there's all kinds of survivors, but anyway, this is going to take your entire core set and it's going to get them all into resin form. So that is that box completed. Next up, we're going to take a look at this box, which looks very, very similar to the box we just opened, and it really is. It literally is the same print on the box. That is not as normal throughout the rest of them, but this one on the very back side has a different SKU, and it says right here, Robots Core Box. So the robots are going to be inside of this one. So let's take off the shrink and see the robots. Box is open and ready to be poured out. Let's see what we got. Ooh, look at that. A nice mix of some cards and... scenario. That's cool. So we got ourselves a scenario called the Steel Clad Manhunt. So that's awesome. Inside of some of these packs, you're going to actually receive some scenarios, which is nice. So it shows you the introduction, the battlefield setup. Flipping it over also gives you a map of the actual battlefield, picture here, scenario rules, and victory conditions. So that's awesome. It's nice of them to put in extra scenarios. Of course, in this game, you can create your own, really. You don't really need, and they give you a full kit within the game to show you how to do that. But it's nice to have some scenarios that are pre-built for you so you don't have to do too much of the work. You've got a whole bunch of packs of cards to represent probably each of these different robots and their attributes throughout the game, so we can talk about those in a second. But then we should probably go ahead and just show quickly some of these things up close so you get a rough idea of how much assembly there is. So for instance, like there's two robots mixed in with this one. So it looks like we got Cogsworth in here from what I can see. So it looks like he's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. So that's not too bad, and he basically runs the whole length of the bottom here and the base. This other one here, which I forget the name of, has this base and then a clear stand for it, and that's it. So not all of these are going to require hours and hours of assembly, so that's where it's really nice. I've also gotten used to assembling miniatures, but these are going to be no problem. There's already holes in the bases for where the feet are supposed to go. The cuts on them are really good. I put together one resin one myself already, and I was very happy with how easily it was able to be put together. You're not going to be sitting there building these miniatures forever. Now, painting, on the other hand, you, of course, if you want to paint them, that's what's going to take some time. But the building of these things, even if you're not familiar with doing this with miniatures, really is not that involved at all. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards within the game, or at least I should say within this pack as well. So this pack actually has quite a bit of different things going on in it. First off, it has this card, which I'm actually not that familiar with yet, but to me this looks like you literally can create your own AI for this particular character and use it. The one that you would normally use based on them that they've already created in advance for the Century Bot is this AI card right here, but it appears that you're able to go ahead and create your own AI for a particular enemy and actually have your own card for it, which I think is really, really cool because it allows for customization, and that's never a bad thing. So you could even make a Century Bot that's much more powerful than the one that currently they've already built for you in advance. So very smart on their part to add that as a piece of the kit as well. They also have here some AI about its self-destructing and how it handles its abilities. They have a bunch of items cards here, so you got about what looks to be 5 different item cards. So refined, bowler hat, missile launcher, minigun. These are all things that this particular robot could be holding, I'm guessing. We have a couple boost cards to add. So this is the quick load and ready for more cards. We also have we have an event, just one event actually. This one says Relentless Rain, so that's cool. So a new event card to be added into the event deck that you already have. Bunker is another card here for Explore. And of course, I don't want to show all these too close because there's a little bit of spoilers going on with some of these. And then danger cards. These ones say like Unlucky Stray Shot or Unstable Fusion Core. Some strangers that you can run into during your particular scenarios get pulled from a deck. So this one says Message Carrier, or for instance an active Sentry Bot is something you can run into. And then we have this right here, which I believe is part of the mission, if I'm not mistaken, that was included inside the box. So robotic secrets, I think this is something that ties into the actual scenario that was included. So that's a look at the inside of this particular box. Let's move on to the next one. So another set for the robot cards here, it shows the Protectron and the iBot, and you can see both of those AI cards here. As long as you've got a customizable one, you can also customize one of the AI of these cards as well, or maybe for both, whatever you'd like to do with that, really. You've got the Self-Destruct and AI Robot card here. It looks like if you flip it over, it gives you a faction ability layout, so it talks about the faction of the robots itself, which is nice. I think this was actually included in the last pack as well as part of this box. Let's take a look at some of the items and extra cards you get here. So first off, are these different than the other ones? Yes, they are. So silenced blowtorch, robotic bits, Protectron hand laser, iBot laser. So all new items specific to these particular individuals. And we got boost cards, sprint, and more piercing. So that's nice. And again, these are all going to add into the decks that we have to play the game. This event is called Static Build-Up, so that's something else that can happen in the environment. Stranger number 1 is the iBot Fanatic, so that's one stranger you can run into. Or you could run into Protectron. So this could be certain strangers that come into play during a scenario that could draw these particular robots into your scenario randomly, which is really awesome. Explore cards, so this one here says iBot Advertisement, so a card for Explore. And then Danger, so the Danger cards are Dizzy. And this other one here is Electronic Trap. And then at the very top here we have the Protectron Strike Team card. Now I'm still thinking these are scenario, if I'm not mistaken. Or maybe this is more of a starting thing. But anyway, this one says Protectron Strike Team as well as the Armed and Dangerous. So I'm not sure where this card is just yet. Those of you that are more familiar with the game can let me know. But I believe this is for either a setup of this in your game, something along those lines. But that's a look at the second pack of cards in this one. We still have 2 more to go. The next pack of cards pertains to Mr. Handy, who I think I called Cogsworth. So in this one, we got Mr. Handy's card, we got his AI card, we've got, again, more about the Self-Destruct and AI Robot activities here. This is, again, talking more about the faction itself, so just a reference card, really. And then, of course, you got your customizable AI card, which is cool. You've got this one here, which is interesting because it's empty on one side and empty on the other, and I haven't seen that yet. So maybe this is one where you can write one up yourself. Interesting. Not too sure, but that allows customization, and that's always cool. You got a couple items here. So this one says Mr. Handy Fuel is one, Mr. Handy Flamer, and Mr. Handy Buzzsaw. All 3 things we can remember from inside of Fallout the video game as well, which is awesome seeing these tie-ins coming in. So it's very, very cool. Let's move on to the next pack of cards. Down to the last pack here for the robot faction. So again, Assaultron is what these guys were when we were looking at the different minis. We got Assaultron here. We've got the AI card. We've got Robot Self-Destruct, customizable AI card, an event that's called Clear. We have a boost card that says Enhanced Accuracy. We have another boost card that says Admin Override. A bunch of items here. So this one says Lightweight, Iguana on a Stick, nice. Robot Repair Kit, Assaultron Swipe, and Assaultron Head Lasers, all very cool. Again, these, what you might be noticing is these little color-coded symbols on this thing that shows you the rulers you're supposed to use for distance. Pretty cool. Explore, this one says Slot Canyon Ambush. These 2 here says Livewire and Suspicious Slime for the dangers. And then the strangers that could bring these particular Assaultrons in is either a friendly fisherman or a Mother Maya. So those 2. Nice. So that's that pack, and that's going to end the Robots faction box. How about we check out the Survivor Core box? So, of course, there's 8 multi-part resin miniatures in this one. Let's tear this box open and find out what's inside. Another box open, another box to spill out and see what we got. So we're going to get, some Survivor miniatures and some cards. So this one has the bulk of the cards in one pack and then a bunch of Survivors off to the side. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards first. Now this is really cool. So these cards right out of the gate, these are the bigger ones. So first off, we have a card here for Mama Murphy, is set up for her, as well as on the other side, the battle side of it. We also have the fact that this is the faction for the survivors, so a card for them, as well as a bunch of information specific to the faction. So those are definitely good reference cards. We have each of these listed out here. So we have the Scavenger, Ronnie Shaw, Mama Murphy, Preston Garvey, and Sturgis. So a whole bunch of different individuals with all of their character cards, and then of course their AI cards above them. This pack certainly has a wide range of cards. So we have perk cards way up here. So we have the perk Rifleman, and we have the perk Life Giver. Heroic card, we have Heroic. Leader card, we have Defender. For the creature card, we have Rad Rabbit. For danger cards, we have the Frost Trap as well as the Unusual Noises. For the boost cards, we have Reserve and Instant Luck. Those are interesting. We have a ton of item cards. I'll wait to show those in a second. We also have a whole bunch of mission cards with this one. So there's even different parts. So my guess with these ones, again, is they all tie into a specific scenario or maybe an event that you can play through. I'm going to have to look into that one again because I've kind of drawn a blank. But it says Blessing of the Atom, the Missing Sample, the Time Lock Safe, and then you get into different parts. So I think these all tie in together in some way. Then you got event cards. This one here is Supply Drop. The other event that can happen is a Passing Swarm. We have Explore card Fenual Hall, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And we have this one here, Merchant Caravan. Strangers is the Pet Vendor or the Kid in a Fridge. That's kind of weird. And actually, you know what? That isn't weird because I remember that exactly from the video game. It's kind of hilarious, actually. Okay, and then the items, actually a whole bunch, tons. So we got to go through these like really quickly because there's so many of them. We got Buff Out, Colmex, Adicol, or Addictol, if I'm saying, oh man, Addictol. Yeah, we'll go with that. Biochem Mesh, Long Barrel, Eyeglasses, Vio Gabi Rab Meat, good try, Adam. Artillery Smoke Grenade, Skeleton Key, Molotov Cocktail, 44 Revolver, Bolt Action Pipe Rifle, Tire Iron, Lead Pipe, Laser Musket. Nice. So we got a whole bunch of guns. That's always cool. So guns are good. So we got a lot there in this particular set for the Survivors. Let's take a look at the minis real fast. Here's a close-up view of one of the first miniatures from the Survivors core box. I'll just flip this over to the other side so you can see, again, the fantastic bases and the quality of these things. Again, showing you through the plastic bags, but only because it would take quite a while to pull these things out individually. But you get a good sense of the quality of them even inside the plastic because the quality of the video is so high. So hopefully it's showing through when the focus hits. Very, very cool. Here's another one with about 3 individuals inside of it. I cannot wait to put these things together and start playing this. This is going to be so much fun. Then I need to find the time to paint these things. And that's really, putting them together is not the problem. It's painting them that's going to be the issue. So that wraps up the Survivors core box. Let's move on to the next one. Ah yes, the Brotherhood of Steel, one of my favorites. Let's head into this one. There is 7 32mm scale high quality multi-part resin miniatures in this one. I want to see these things. Let's tear this box wide open. All right, here we go. The dump of the components. All right, so in this Brotherhood of Steel core box, what do we have here? So first off, we have some cards. That's good. We got some miniatures. So let's do the miniatures last, and let's focus on the cards first. Here's the breakdown of the large standard size cards for the Brotherhood of Steel core box. So we have the faction card here. On the back side, we have the breakdown for the faction, so that's important. We have a Paladin, a Field Scribe, a Lancer, and a Knight Patrol, all with their AI cards across the board, so you can see them in all their glory. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the mini cards. Here are all the mini cards for this particular pack. So we have a creature. The creature is the Withered Murloc. We have the leader card, which is a bruiser. An event that can occur is the uninvited guest. You never want that. And we have fresh as another event. Stranger you can run into is the pensioner. The heroic card you can gain is heroic. Explore, let's see here, the Hauser Library. And what else? The National Guard Barracks. Okay. Boost cards. We've got ourselves Line It Up and With Me. Perk cards, we have Pain Train and Big Leagues. Danger cards, we have Fire Trap, we have Something Stirs, Hidden Fragmentation Mine, and Serrated Edge. None of those things sound good. And then we have the item deck. All right, let's see what we got for items here. So T60 Power Armor, Fury, which is a drug, Heavy, the Yao Guan, the meat again. This is that meat we had from before. Sea Captain's Hat, Vertibird Signal Grenade, Gatling Laser, that sounds awesome. I remember that one actually. Machete, always good. Baton, Laser Pistol, Laser Rifle, Hunting Rifle. Very, very cool. All right, so a whole bunch of items that pertain to that particular faction. And now we're going to take a look at the minis. We'll start off with this pack for the Brotherhood of Steel, so you can see the detail of the minis there. Of course, they're in a gigantic pile, but hopefully you can see the quality of this stuff. Pretty awesome. This bag here, which I just dropped. Again, more pieces. I love, love, love the bases. Like, look at that fire hydrant just buried in the cement. So cool. Such a good idea to have those bases be built right in to make it look even better. Don't have to worry about the terrain at all. Just have to paint it. So cool. Is this one? Yeah, this is one of the ones I think in the power armor. I just can't get around to the face on this one because it's actually in the way of the base, but very, very nice. Very, very nice indeed. So I cannot wait to put together that core box, and that's going to do it for the Brotherhood of Steel. The last box in this particular size is the Super Mutants core box faction, so let's go ahead, dive in, and see what this one looks like. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Oh, these guys are a little bit bigger than the norm. Oh, there's more stuff in here, actually, that's not coming out. Ooh, there's a scenario sheet here. I wonder if I've been missing scenario sheets in the other boxes. I think I might have. Actually. So I might have to go double check that, because I think there were supposed to be scenario sheets in the other ones as well. But this one says Big John Salvage Showdown. So you got another gigantic battlefield set up there with a whole bunch of stuff going on. So you can, you know, essentially use those as houses, or maybe just their boxes and terrain, things like that. But you got victory conditions, scenario rules. Again, I love that because it's giving you a scenario. I'm definitely going to have to check those prior boxes to make sure there wasn't anything inside of them that I missed. And it's very likely that I did, because I just dumped them out. And if I did miss anything, I'll add them in right after this particular box. So we have all the miniatures, which we'll talk about in a second. First, let's dig into the cards. Here are the standard size cards for the faction of the Super Mutants, one of my favorite factions. You got, again, the same faction card as the other ones that are specific to this faction, giving you details. You got a Master Super Mutant, a Brute Super Mutant, a Super Mutant, and a Mutant Hound Super Mutant. And you've got Master, Brute, Super Mutant, and Mutant Hound, all the AI cards for all of them. Very, very cool. Let's move into the mini cards. Here are the cards from this particular faction pack of the Super Mutants, so we're going to go through them, each of them. Leader, we got Berserker. For heroic cards, we have heroic. So again, this is just basically I believe this card just allows one of your characters to become heroic. So this is always going to be the same if I'm not mistaken, although the symbolism on the icons on the card might be changing between each of these boxes. I'll have to check that. The boost cards here for this one are What Was That? And 6 Cents. So again, very funny. Definitely works with the theme of the game. They're doing such a fantastic job of that. And this one here is events. You got a New Presence and an Eerie Mist. For dangers, you have Rigged Shotgun, Was That Movement, and Unstable Ground. For perks, you've got yourself Refractor and Steady Aim. Stranger is the Gunner's Deserter. Creatures that come along with this pack are the Wounded Mutant Hound and the Lost Pack Brahim, if I'm saying that correctly. And then we've got Explorer cards as a helpful distraction. And this Explorer card says Ellie's Marina. We've got a whole bunch of item cards, and again, one of those types of situations with a particular scenario, which is my guess is this turns into, I don't know if this actually ties into the scenario or not. That's something that I'm not 100% sure. I'm still not sure on that. But the items here, let's go through them one at a time. So we got multi-purpose, we got ragstag meat, robotic bits, chains, flashlight, minigun, sledgehammer, of course you're going to have a sledgehammer, huge club, oh yeah, Molotov cocktail, hound bite, bolt action pipe rifle, and assault rifle. All of these are items at the disposal. So again, a whole bunch of cards here to add into your game. That is going to conclude the look at the Super Mutants core box, except for the miniatures, which we're going to do just next. So here's a close-up look at the miniatures for this particular package. So again, it's a little easier to see them from the front, but again, it's just mainly arms and things like that you'll have to be connecting. The bases are all there. Look at that gigantic club, sledgehammer just sitting on the base. That looks super cool. This one here, we've got the hounds, of course, so these guys are looking pretty gruesome, but really you just have to attach a couple legs and then put them on the base, and that's pretty straightforward. Some brutes. This guy here's got a gigantic sludge hammer that he's like pulling back behind his head, but of course you have to attach that on your own in his arms, and then you throw them on the base and you're good. And then these two in a package as well. I love those bases. Just can't get enough of them. But the quality of the miniatures themselves looks fantastic. So very, very, very happy overall, guys. And hopefully this is a good look for you at the Super Mutants core box. Now, I told you guys if I happen to go through these boxes and find some missions that I didn't notice when I was going through them, I was going to let you know. This one comes from the Brotherhood of Steel box, and I completely missed it as it was inserted just to the side of the box, and it didn't come out when I originally poured it. But this one here, again, has a nice introduction, battlefield setup. It shows a bunch of houses and different terrain that's sitting around. There's some power armor even in the middle of the map, but again, it's for the Brotherhood of Steel, so that makes perfect sense. On the back side here, we've even got a picture of, you know, again, this is what's really cool, is you get a nice look at how you could potentially paint the Brotherhood in Steel, but there's tons of resources online and even in the Fallout universe in terms of the video games to know how to paint these things. Scenario rules are here, victory conditions are here. Let's take a look at the Survivor core box because I believe there's another one in there. Yep, sure enough, inside the Survivor core box there was also another quest or scenario you can set up called the Quest for Knowledge. This one looks like it's actually inside a school, so that's interesting. So this is actually inside of a building instead of being around buildings. It's got an introduction, battlefield setup, and you can actually read this on screen, likely because I've zoomed in far enough. Scenario rules, victory conditions are there as well, but these are examples of some of the missions that you actually get inside these core boxes, not just the factions themselves and the cards that go with them. So I like that quite a bit. Alright, so now we're going to focus on some of the smaller box expansions that you can get for Fallout Wasteland Warfare that are going to add things like the Boston Companions for your survivors, or Minutemen, or Suiciders for the Super Mutants, or Hammer Guys for the Super Mutants, as well as the Heroes of Sanctuary Hills, Frontline Knights. So many different little packs you can get to kind of expand those original factions, which makes them even better and more unique. So let's go ahead and dive into each of these 7 boxes. So the Minutemen are up first. These are the first box we're going to open up, and I'll show you guys what the back looks like. Essentially lets you know how many miniatures are in the box, how many cards are in the box, whether they're small or large, and just a quick little brief overview. So I'm going to go ahead and tear off the packaging. We're going to look inside of this thing. So inside of the box we have miniatures, of course, cards, and because I'm actually checking now properly, we actually have another scenario, or this is actually awesome. So we're going to get scenarios, I guess, in every single one of these miniature boxes. This one's called Benny's Request. So it's got an introduction, battlefield setup, shows you where the Minutemen are going to deploy, shows you where the those aren't super, skirmishes deployment zone. Interesting. And on the opposite side, we've got victory conditions. We've got some points here for Bonnie. We've got scenario rules over here. So if you guys can see that, you can pause the screen and read it if you'd like. But that's really cool. I just want to emphasize the fact that I really do appreciate the fact they're throwing in scenarios in each of these boxes, just adding to the wealth of preset scenarios you can choose from when you're going ahead and playing the game. And of course, customization is always up to you as well. Got a pack of cards, and we got some resin miniatures. So let's take a closer look at both of them. So we have the miniatures outside of the packaging now, so I can show you guys these close up. And of course, it's a little easier with these ones because there's not as many of them. But what's really cool is the fact that, again, you're only going to need to maybe attach or detach, I should say, just a couple bases and some of these miniatures before you're able to go ahead and start attaching them together. There's not that much for assembly, which is awesome. So I should be able to attach these very, very quickly, the 4 of them. So these are the 4 miniatures that you can expect to find inside of the Minutemen posse. Now let's go ahead and move these out of the way and take a closer look at the cards. So the Minutemen posse includes the Minutemen card, the AI card for the Minutemen, as well as a custom card that you can use to, tweak that to your liking. In terms of the cards that come inside of the pack, we've got a danger card here. It says medical waste. This one here is a chem dealer. We've got a couple boost cards. This one here says fortune deflection and covered. Creature here says unseasonal sting wings. We got a couple event cards to add in, recruitment beacon and wet ground. The Explorer cards are the Paw Spa Pet Shop and the Mass Fusion Building. That's awesome. And we got some item cards here as well. So the item cards are Orange Mutants, Combat Armor, dirty postman uniform, alarm clock, mole rat meat. There we go, nailed it. Laser musket, machete, and those are the item cards. So there's quite a bit of item cards inside of this pack as well, so it's pretty cool. So again, always just bolstering the total number of cards, which again is going to add some replayability into the game. All right, moving right along with the Survivor faction, we have the Heroes of Sanctuary Hills. So this one has 3 miniatures inside of it, so let's go ahead and check this one out. All right, time to dump the contents out. Let's see what we got. We got some, ooh, look at that. The actual scenario card came out this time. So we've got ourselves Psycho Trip. So there's another scenario that we can use while playing Fallout Wasteland Warfare. So always nice to see another one of those added into the pile. If you guys want to see the details of it, you can pause the screen, is the easiest way to actually read those. And then we got ourselves miniatures. Let's take a look at the miniatures here. We've got ourselves nice. So this one is going to be pretty straightforward to put together. There's just the 3 or 4 pieces actually to put that one together, as well as the base. Again, the base being extremely detailed there. Looks really good. Gonna pop those off pretty easily to be able to glue those together. This one here, looking awesome. Again, actually this one's super easy. There's actually nothing else to connect except simply putting that one right on. I think, oh, it looks like the gun fell off of this one actually. So this gun might have been attached and might have just popped off, which is fine because it would have been here. Maybe he's carrying it or something like that. I'll have to take a look into that to see where that's supposed to go, but I'm guessing that's with him. But that's pretty straightforward and easy to glue on. Pretty much just a guy and his gun. And then we have dog meat, I'd assume. It would be what this is, maybe a different version of him or just another generic dog. So again, that's awesome. And this is considered the Heroes of Sanctuary Hills, so my guess is that that is exactly the case. But we'll see as soon as we crack these cards as to whether that is the case. So let's go ahead and dive into this pack. So inside of this one, we have a generic dog with an AI card that we can actually populate ourselves. We have the Soul Survivor Loner with an AI card for it. Dog Meat Scout, as I mentioned, definitely a new version of Dog Meat, which is awesome. An AI card for him. And Cogsworth. Now this is cool because earlier on in the video I thought that I had gotten Cogsworth, but here he is officially with his AI card, considered a hero of Sanctuary Hills, and that actually makes a lot more thematic sense based on the video games. So with this particular pack we have a couple boost cards we'll go through. So this one here is Piercing Attack. We also have Second Chance. Perks wise we have Lone Wanderer and the Attack Dog perk. Leader card is Blitzer, and we also have some scenario cards or story cards, it looks like, with this one. So a few of those, which are just kind of streaming off camera here. I don't want to spoil too much, so I won't show those fully. The item cards here for this particular one have Day Tripper, Boosted, Dog Bandana, Vault 111 Jumpsuit, Mr. Handy Fuel, Baseball Grenade, that sounds amazing, Mr. Handy Flamer, Mr. Handy Buzzsaw, the Machete, Dog Bite, a 44 revolver. Awesome. So a whole bunch more items to add into the Wasteland. The last box for the survivors is the Boston Companion. So let's go ahead, rip into this one, see what's inside. Time to dump out the components of this one, see what we got. Let's see if the scenario card will come out. It does not, but there is one inside, as there always is. This one here is called Sanctuary Hills Sweep. So another scenario that can be played with this particular game. Again, you can pause the screen if you want to view this for its details. And then on the very back, got the scenario rules and the victory conditions, as well as some art. Awesome, loving it. More and more scenarios for the game. We got ourselves some miniatures, of course. Boston Companions is what these ones are called. Now these ones are all, again, most of these ones seem to be just 3 to 4 pieces in sprues, so that's pretty awesome. Should be nice and easy to go ahead and assemble. So this one here, for instance, very simple in terms of what you're going to need to do in order to build it. It's going to do that as fast as possible so that the focus kind of stays with us. Kind of learning this as I go. The unboxings are going to be a bit different because I'm getting used to a new camera, which has a different focus point on it than the previous one. So this one's having a bit more trouble gaining that focus, but it'll get there. There we go. This one mainly is a little bit thinner, so. But the base, like the actual base, is what I'm really impressed with. Look at the height off the base of that in terms of the texture and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. So those are the 3 for this particular set. So now we'll go ahead and dive into the cards. So with this pack for the standard cards, we have Cat, Piper, and X688 Courser, if I'm saying that correctly. And these are all the AI cards for it, but we also have a custom card, which I'm loving the fact that they keep including these things so that you can kind of throw some variety into the AI. So that is the standard cards that come inside of this one. And in terms of mini cards that come in this pack, we've got a couple boost cards here. So this one here says Amplified Effect. This one here is Like a Shadow. The perks, which are always awesome, is the Chem Resistant perk and the Gunslinger perk. Leader card is Thief, and we also have a Part 1, Part 2, as well as a couple other cards here for a story or scenario-based cards, which is awesome. Got a bunch of item cards in the middle here. So this one here says Vodka, always good to have. Balanced. The Typewriter, a Repair Kit, Beverage, Squirrel Bits, 10mm pistol, so many of those in the Wasteland, Double Barrel Shotgun, Gamma Gun, awesome, and Stun Baton. Awesome, so those are the items that come within this particular pack. Let's move on to the next one. All right, we're moving into the Brotherhood of Steel in terms of the mini packs here. So it's going to have the Knight Captain and the Paladin. So let's dive in and see what these ones look like. I want to see that glorious power armor is what I'm looking for here with this particular set. I'm sure I'm going to get it. So here is the scenario sheet for this one called the Midwest Encounter, it seems. So again, an introduction for that. I'll leave this here so you guys can pause the screen and read it if you so choose to. On the very back, simply just the victory conditions as well as some art here as well. So shows you what you can get inside in terms of the scenario to add to the pile. We've also got a mini here or two. And it looks like we actually have, whoa, that base is actually pretty crazy. That's got an actual crate on it. That's really interesting. Got some cards as well. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the minis. This is actually really interesting because these bases are amazing on this one. Look at this guy. This is so cool. Now there's a couple pieces here that looks like they've fallen off the sprue. So these could have popped off a couple of these other ones here. So I'll have to be careful. But it looks like a head and an arm. That'll also be part of this particular sprue right here. And it looks like this one here is an arm that's come off, but nothing's broken. It just kind of popped off the sprue because they're such small parts. But at least they're inside of these bags, which is awesome. Again, this is what I'm really impressed with. Look at the base on this thing. Like there's an actual crate, and he's literally when he's actually put on it, he's going to be standing on it. So he's looking pretty amazing. Got ourselves a droid as well. We're going to have to put together. So that's pretty much that one. That was actually pretty simplistic for the most part. So at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, it will look something like that. So that kind of gives you a decent visual of how it'll look. One thing I am noticing, though, off the hop with this one, is I think this is the first one I could actually be missing a piece to. Because it appears I don't have the clear crystal stand here for this particular droid. I have its base, I have the droid itself, but I'm not seeing the stand. So unless it's in the box here, or I've misplaced it while pouring it out, which I don't think I did, I think I'm going to have to get a replacement on that one. So that might be the first piece I've noticed that I'm actually missing across the board here. But that is what it is. So let's take a quick look inside to see. Nope, there's nothing in there. So let's go ahead and take a look at the cards at least and see what kind of cards we get with this particular pack. All right, so here are the standard size cards. We got a Knight Captain, we have a Paladin and the iBot, and we also have an AI card for customization as well, which is awesome. Cool thing is, guys, guess what? I wasn't missing that piece after all. It was actually inside the pack of cards, so that was kind of surprising. I thought that would be in with the miniatures, but I'm not missing any piece at all. So we still have a pretty good batting average in terms of how things are going for the unboxing. So that's going to cover all the standard cards. Let's take a look at the mini ones. All right, so for mini cards, we have Perk, Blitz, and we have the Perk Ninja. In terms of a leader card, we have Commander. Boost cards, we have the Check Again and Try That Again cards. For scenario-based cards, we have Getting Technical, Sleeper Virus, and Tactical Analysis. And then we have a whole bunch of item cards to go through as well. So this one has, nice, T60 Power Armor. Loving it. I'll show you guys how this works when we actually do the playthrough in terms of the two sides of this thing. It might look a little strange. Two of those T60 Power Armor, Improved Flexibility, Army Helmet, Biometric Scanner, Stun Baton, iBot Laser, Minigun, Plasma Rifle, Wow, there's quite a bit of cool cards in that one. So that is all the mini cards and everything inside of the Knight Captain and Paladin box for the Brotherhood of Steel. The last box for the Brotherhood of Steel is called the Frontline Knights, so let's go ahead and dig into these ones too. Alright, let's dump this out, see what we got. So we got ourselves some cards. Oh, nothing wants to come out. We got the scenario, of course, and miniatures. Nice. Okay, so the scenario for this one is called the Radio Tower Takeover. Oh, that sounds really cool. So, of course, you get your playmat as well as a radio tower that you're going to have to deal with. Introduction, battlefield setup, and then on the very back. So I'm going to give you guys maybe a quicker look at this than normal, but maybe I'll just flip back to the first one so that you guys can actually read that if you'd like to see what that particular scenario is all about. Moving along, oh, this is interesting. What are those? I have never seen these white cards in the background. That's quite interesting. And then we've got a whole bunch of miniatures to go through. So let's take a look at the miniatures quickly. The cards are interesting me here. They're different looking than I've seen in the other ones. So miniatures wise, we got a whole bunch here. We got 4 guys. One of the guns came off the sprue again. But again, it's not a big deal in terms of them coming off the sprue. It just means they're easy to take off. So I'm okay with that. I love the different size in the bases, though. You get a whole bunch of variety there. So here's one of the individuals, which I'll bring up to the camera here and see if we can get that to focus in. There is one of them right there. This guy here has got a ton going on here. Look at this. That's craziness. The base is huge. This guy here, again, one of the pieces actually fell off. This particular one, but again, very, very cool. Again, the base has just has that life to it with all that debris that I love. And I'm looking forward to actually sitting down one afternoon and just ripping through the creation of all these. First off, with resin miniatures, I'm going to go ahead and get them all cleaned up first and all that kind of stuff, but it's just so much fun to build these things, especially when they're not completely in pieces. They're only a few pieces each, so I should be able to rip through these pretty quick with some super glue and be able to get these sets made. I'm actually currently, for those of you that are interested, I'm actually currently in the middle of building the Red Rocket Scenic set, and I can tell you right now, it is an amazing looking set piece, and I cannot wait for the other set pieces that are going to come as part of future sets and things like that. It just looks phenomenal. So here are the standard cards. I actually have no idea what this is. This is actually the first time I've ever seen that card. It says set 4. I don't even think that's supposed to be in there. I have no idea. But we've got the Night card here, the Night Patrol, and of course you got AI cards for both of them. So if you're interested in seeing anything more in terms of the AI cards or the standard size cards, that's what they look like. And this one has a quite different variety of cards than some of the other ones I've seen. This one actually has a creature in it. So this one says Glowing Radroach. It has a danger card here that says Trip Grenade. A stranger encounter where something can basically, you can be run into somebody who's an arms dealer. That's kind of cool. Couple events. You got the Diamond City Radio, Forest Fire, awesome. Right back from the video games. Again, all this stuff really ties into video games, of course. Rad Fire, and these are Explore cards, and Crazy Inventor. For boost cards, we've got ourselves the Enhanced Damage as well as Walk It Off. And then item cards is where things get real interesting. We got another T60 Power Armor card, a Whiskey card, an Emergency Protocol card, a multi-caliber caliber card, cool, Fusion Core, nice, Cairo Grenade, Tire Iron, love the Tire Iron, Laser Rifle, Combat Rifle. Those are the items for this particular pack. Now we move into the Super Mutants. So this one is a Super Mutant Hammer box. There's only 2 models in this one, but they're very, very cool looking models. So let's go ahead and dive in and see what they look like. All right, here we go. For the Super Mutants Hammer, let's see what we got. Oh, these ones are nice looking. Okay, so we got ourselves a scenario sheet. Ooh, Flip's Revenge. That looks like an interesting layout. There's the introduction battle setup as normal. On the back side, got some artwork here to show you a little bit more scenario rules. Let me see if I can get this up so you guys can actually read that. The victory conditions as well. And what else we have here? Wonderful miniatures, of course. And look at the bases on these ones. Wow. I'm impressed. These are some larger miniatures. Again, the one of the guns came off the sprue, but that's okay. Resin looks amazing. Look at the quality on these things. Let me see if I can bring this in slowly. That is awesome. This guy's got a massive, massive hammer. That base has like a huge, I don't know what that is. There's like a giant pipe on the ground. And then of course you've got this guy here. One of the hounds. So awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the standard size cards for this one. Oh yeah, so we got the Mutant Hound Fiend and the Hammer, and then of course the AI cards for both, with the wonderful and glorious custom AI card as well to go with it. So that's always awesome. You can take a look at all the stats on screen. And here are the mini cards for this particular pack. So we got some boosts. We actually have quite a few boosts in this one. This is Accurate Attack. This boost here is Critical Conversion. This one is Light-Footed, and then we have I Don't Think So. Awesome. Leader card is Wrestler. Perk card is Heavy Gunner. We have a couple scenario-based cards like Sending a Message, Treasure Hunt, and Food Hunt. And then we have some wonderful item cards. These ones have Armor-Piercing Receiver, Military-Grade Circuit Board, Dog Chain Collar, Heavy Gauntlets, Missile Launcher, that's crazy, Lead Pipe, Hound Bite, Super Sledge, yep, and Armor Piercing Receiver all the way around again. So that's actually got some fairly strong cards and items in that particular set. So that's going to be the first Super Mutant set. Let's move into the very last mini box that we have. The last mini box that we have is for the Super Mutants, and it's called the Suiciders. These guys are very, very cool looking. So let's go ahead and see what they look like on the inside of this box. All right, so the Suiciders box contains another scenario, no surprise there. So we got ourselves the Atomic Sprint scenario. That's kind of cool. So we got a Friends of the Humans deployment zone at the top with a tower relay, Super Mutants deployment team down below, introduction, battlefield setup, and then on the back side we got some art as well as the scenario rules, as well as some rules for the actual relay tower itself and victory conditions. Very cool. Add that to the pile. We got some cards and some miniatures to go through, so let's take a closer look at the miniatures really quick. These guys should be quite large. Their bases look pretty insane. Actually, every single one of these guys have a large base, and you can see some of them have come off the sprues as well, so this guy was probably there. Actually, this guy, oh yeah, there he is, buried over there. So some of the guys have come off, but that's not an issue. So here is an example of one of them, close up in terms of what it looks like off of the screw. Or sprue, I should say. Again, I'm a huge fan of the bases. Like, I can't get over the detail that they put into the bases and how nice they look. So these two are exactly the same. It might be hard here because the focus has kind of gone astray here, but it will come back. So these two here are exactly the same in terms of the base, but this one here has a totally different look and feel for it. It actually has like a kind of like gravel, basically, scattered gravel everywhere. So again, very, very different looking, but also extremely cool. So that's going to do it for the miniatures in this pack. Let's take a look at the cards. So in terms of standard size cards, these ones are very straightforward. There's just a Suicider card and an AI card for him. And obviously he's got one train of thought in terms of his AI, which is actually kind of funny, but makes perfect sense. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the mini cards for this pack. So this pack actually has a variety of cards as well. We got a couple events up here. I love events because they change up the gameplay quite a bit. So Super Mutant Broadcast and Low Sun. For the boost cards here, we've got ourselves Aim for the Gap, and we've got ourselves Sunlight in Eyes. That's interesting. The Explorer cards here, we have Daylight Robbery and Ghost. Danger, we have Disoriented. Stranger that can appear is a Ghoul Gang. And then we've got Starving Stunted. Oh, that's interesting. That's a kind of a cool one. That's actually quite an interesting pile of cards there. And then we got the item cards too. So Whiskey, Excel, Pack of Duct Tape, which gives you some caps, Skeleton Key, Squirrel on a Stick, and Suicider Mini Nuke. That sounds crazy. Wow. Okay, so that's that pack. And actually, guys, that is going to complete all of the mini box expansions. So let's move on to the settlement deck as well as what the rulers look like as well. So this is one of the coolest additions for this particular game because it's considered a settlement deck, and this is going to really flush out the settlement portion of the Fallout Wasteland Warfare gameplay. And there's a whole chapter, if not more, inside of the rulebook and the campaign book of how a settlement works. And this pack essentially flushes that out and gives you more and more cards to represent that. So we're going to go ahead and look at this closer up by taking off the packaging and ripping through these cards. So this particular box has 119 expansion cards. That's a whole bunch of these mini cards. Weapons, equipment, mods, chems, power armor, boosts, quests, perks, leader, and explore cards. It really does flush out, and honestly, in my opinion, if you're getting into Fallout Wasteland Warfare, this is a must. Well, they certainly weren't joking about this. This box is literally filled to the brim with mini cards. Like, it is a huge deck. So we're going to go ahead and break it down, maybe go through these as fast as we possibly can, but there's a lot of content inside this little box. So here it is all broken out. So we're going to go through each of these packs or decks individually so I can show you each one of them. The leader deck here, we've got a handful of about 4 or 5 cards. So this one here says we got the Dweller, the Bodyguard, the Old Timer, the Veteran, and the Tech. Those are the 5 for that particular one. Moving into the perks, we've got Action Boy and Girl, Sneak, the Chemist, the Medic, Ghoulish, Rad Resistant, Toughness, Concentrated Fire, Hacker, Gun Nut, Heavy. So there's a lot in that one too. So again, that's going to just add to the number of perks in the game. Explore cards, there's just a ton. It's actually quite insane. Landover's Offer, Mass Pike Interchange, Dockyard Dealer, Harbor Master Hotel, Boxing Gym, Gunner's Plaza, Local Patrols, Synth Patrol, Nothing, Thicket Excavations, Region Elementary, New Settlement, Custom Workbench, Damaged Weaponry, Miners Camp, Cunningham's Diner, Silent Witness, Campsite Leftovers, Fire Department, Quincy Police Station, Abandoned Refinery, Beantown Brewery, Fenn Subway Station, Milton General Hospital, Pharmacy, Enemy Camp Discovered, and Fallon's Department Store. Like, this is nuts. There's a ton of cards in these things. Okay, that almost like made me just want to gasp for breath there. So we got these boost cards as well. So we got the Jury Rig, Rousing Words, Knew I Would Need It, Extra Use, Patch Repair, Dig Deep, Slip Free, Courage, Gifted Climber, Anticipated, Go Now, Battle Aware, Tread Lightly, Delayed Event, Indomitable, That Was Lucky, A Bit Special, More Damaging, Very Special, Called Shot, Defensive Positioning, Piercing Attack, Accurate Attack, and Powerful Attack for all the boost cards. We have a number of scenario-based and story-based cards here. So it says Use Constitution, Part 1, 2, Escort the Witness, 1, 2, and it looks like it branches off from 2A and 2B, so that's kind of cool. Item cards is actually the thickest pile yet. All right, this next deck is all items, of course, I just mentioned, but this is going to be not worth going through just me talking through it because there's so much, so I'll just let you guys actually look at these as we go. So Power Armor here, T51. We got a bunch of drugs here, so I'm just going to kind of rip through them so you guys can see each one of them. Don't need to rhyme them all off because I guarantee I'll run out of breath. Moving into items, we got like headlamps and weaves, all kinds of things you can essentially find and use within this particular game. It's actually crazy how many items are in this deck. It just gets outrageous. Got armor, we've got like everything you want for, whatever you want in terms of suits and jeans and anything you could wear in terms of equipment. You've got cap stashes of 112, that's huge. 53, you got fire extinguishers that actually have the ability to remove fire, like fusion cores. Handwritten notes, letters, spikes, an admin password, flashlights, pulse grenades. Like, this is just craziness. And of course, some amazing guns to add in there as well. So this is, again, a pack that if you're looking to expand your core game experience, Even if you didn't want to pick up any of the other miniatures, this by far is the best bang for buck in terms of bolstering your card piles for perks, leaders, explore item boosts, and even some scenario and story-driven cards as well. This next item that you can pick up for Fallout Wasteland Warfare is called the Acrylic Range Rulers, and basically they're going to take the cardboard range rulers that are inside your core box and upgrade them to an acrylic version, which again are going to be used, and the item card is going to tell you when you're supposed to use which ruler and which color. It's another reason why I like these acrylic ones. Not only are they thick and they just feel nice, they're also a good quality. They have the Pip-Boy in the middle. You don't need to really have any measurements on them. They have them there, I think, just for style, but you don't really need them at all, because I believe the cards themselves state if you need for a particular gun, you might be using a red and a yellow to figure out the distance of how far away you could shoot somebody, or maybe the red is essentially what you can walk, but the yellow is your charge afterwards, that type of thing. So it'll let you know the colors on the card you're using when you're using it. The cool thing, or one thing I will note though, is that I have seen cards where you might get like two black in a row, for instance, and yes, you could measure one and then put another ruler to the other end. That works perfectly fine, but I think personally I'd rather have two sets of these acrylic rulers, not only for situations where you're playing with another player, because again, most miniature games are 1 versus 1, but in a solo capacity even, it's nice to be able to play this game and have double of each ruler acrylic wise, so that you can actually pair them up when a particular weapon calls for it. So I'll probably be picking up another set. Highly recommend these ones as an upgrade to the original core experience. And now we're moving into the home stretch of the unboxing, where we're going to open up each of these particular packs individually. There are a total of 7 of them, so let's go ahead and start with one. We'll work our way through all 7. So the first set here we've got is the Feral Ghouls set. So there's 6 of these guys in this packaging, and you can see here that there are 3 different types of sculpts within the 6 that come inside of this package. This is what they look like up close, as well as their bases. Let's take a look at the cards that come with it as well. In terms of the standard size cards, these are pretty straightforward. You're going to get a Feral Ghoul actual card for its character itself. You get its AI card, and then again, you get another card you can use to customize the Feral Ghoul however you'd like. This particular set comes with a number of cards as well, so you're going to get a couple danger cards here. We'll go through them. So Ghoulish Scratch is one of the danger cards. We got Damaged Weapon. Boost cards, we have Feline Grace, and this one is Perfect Timing. We have Target Practice here as that card. Explore card, it says Atlantic Offices. A couple creatures with this one. The Dormant Feral Ghoul and the Lone Feral Ghoul. An event that can come up in your game is Cleansing Rain. And then we have a number of item cards here as well. So the very first item card is Lead Lined. We have Hazmat Suit, always useful in the Wasteland. Abraxo Cleaner, Feral Ghoul Swipe, nice. So those are the 4 item cards that come inside of this pack, and that actually encompasses the entire case for the Feral Ghouls. So if you know Fallout, you know rad roaches, and especially if you play Fallout in virtual reality, they're even more terrifying because they're massive. But in this particular situation, they look like they're just a part of a base, and it's actually really cool the way they did this, because there's a lot of detail on each one of these bases. You'll see that there's just a little lip there you have to cut off yourself, which is quite easy, but there's no assembly really with these ones, so that's nice. So let's move into the standard and mini size cards. So again, here for standard cards, we got the Rad Roach Swarm, and it's actually a symbol for multiple of these Rad Roaches. So of course the actual base has 3 of them on it at the main. So the idea is that a swarm is coming after you, and you got the AI card for the swarm as well as a custom card to use for AI as well. So now we'll take a look at the cards that come in this pack. So we have an Explorer card here. This one says Dusty Barrows. We've got a couple boost cards. This one here is More Accurate. This one is Highly Alert. The event that comes along with this pack is the Bohemian Stampede, if I'm even pronouncing that one correctly. Alpha Wild Mongrel is one of the creatures, and another one here is Radroach Cloud. That sounds really bad. The card here, it says Plague of the Radroaches, so that's pretty awesome. So it's got some actual flavor text there on the card, and then on the back it has an extermination thing here where you can potentially kill a bunch for some caps. Danger card here says Under Pressure. And the other one here says Not a Toy. Here are the item cards that come in the pack. There are 4 of them. So you get Hot Rod Shark Paint, and this can actually give you an agility +1, looks like. Some caps here for a camera. Radroach Meat and Radroach Swarm Bite. So those are the 4 items that come along with this particular pack. This next pack was a promo pack, and it came with 1 Nuka-Cola girl, and it strictly was a promo. So this one, I believe, will not be going to retail stores to purchase. I believe this was part of the Wave 1 kind of thank you bonus for going ahead and picking it up in advance, which I picked up in advance, so I got this one. But I'd like to show you what's inside of this one. Again, it's just 1 sculpt for the Nuka-Cola girl, as well as some cards that go along with it. So let's take a look at those. As we've seen now a couple times, we have the same type of card setup for these particular miniatures. So the actual card that is for the character itself with its different stats on it, as well as an AI card in the middle, and then again, another card on the far right used for customization. Still loving that, by the way. Now let's take a look at the mini cards. Not as many cards in this one because, again, this is a promo pack, but there's some items as well as some of these cards for the story. So the Secret Elixir, Innocent Bystander, and even a customizable card as well with nothing on either side. So you can go ahead and do whatever you want with that one. For items, you get yourself the Nuka Cherry, which looks pretty awesome. You also get the Nuka-Cola, and you get the Thirst Zapper Cola. So a whole bunch of kind of Nuka-Cola based products. So here we have 2 Rad Scorpions. So we have 2 of the bases, the tails attached. Just got to pop those off pretty easily. You've got a couple sprues on the side there for the bodies and the rest of it. So really about 4 things to detach, maybe 5, and you've got yourself your Rad Scorpion ready to be glued together. So this one's going to be really cool. It's a nice, unique sculpt, and it also comes along with a handful of cards. So let's take a closer look. So we have the Rad Scorpion character card here. We have the Rad Scorpion AI and another customizable card to go along with it. And this pack comes with a bunch of small cards as well, or mini cards. So the Danger one, we'll start with that. We have Dinner Plans. This one here says Sting in the Tail. Boost cards, we get False Start, as well as, oh, this one says Reroll Your VATS Roll. That's bad. And Lucky Roll. The Event card that comes with this one is Swarm of Flies. The creatures are Lurking Rad Scorpion and Migrating Rad Stag. Explore card is Municipal Pool. It says right here, a Sting in the Tail. So again, another one of those. This is actually interesting. These are the one card that I always keep forgetting what exactly and how this one works again, but still, I'm going to look that up. Again, I was just started unboxing this, and the last time I played it was way back at Gen Con, so it's been a bit. Item cards here. So let's go ahead and look at each of these. These should be exciting. So we got Medex. We've got Arm Breaker, Road Goggles, Rad Scorpion Egg. That doesn't sound good. Oh my gosh. Uncooked and Cooked. Nice. Rad Scorpion Pincers and Sting. Cool. All right. So those are all the cards that come along with the Rad Scorpion pack. I'm sure you Fallout fans that are familiar with all the different creatures recognize this thing. This is a Deathclaw. That's right. You can pick up a Deathclaw for the game. Fantastic base. The model looks extremely cool. Of course, it doesn't look as cool right now when it's not assembled. But again, it's just in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces and then a base. And boom, you've got yourself that miniature assembled. It also comes with some cards, which we'll take a look at right now. Here's a rundown of the cards, standard size that come in this pack. You have the Deathclaw card, the Deathclaw AI card, and then a customizable card as well. In terms of the mini cards that come in this pack, we've got ourselves some boost cards to rip through. So this one here is Enhanced Piercing. This one is Braced. The event that comes in this one is Recent Prints. Explore card is Roar of the Deathclaw. Danger cards are Sinking Sand and Steel Trap. And for the creatures, we get the Diving Radgull and the Large Egg. We also have a couple of these cards as well called the Deathclaw Statues, Part 1 and 2, and then a bunch of item cards. So let's see what we get for items. So we got the Reboard card, we have the Military Fatigues, Deathclaw Meat, some actual food, Deathclaw Gauntlet, amazing, Deathclaw Crush, even, wow, Deathclaw Swipe, nice. So we got some really powerful ones in there. So that is a look at the small mini cards for this particular box. So this pack focuses on turrets. So you've got 4 of them, 2 different sculpts. So 2 of them are the same in terms of what you can see from the base. 2 of them are different. It comes with only a couple item cards, really not that many in this one. And it also came with a plastic version of one of the Alien Invaders, I believe, which is one of the promos that you get for picking up the game, I believe, in store. And I think that was a pre-order bonus. So I don't think that one will be coming back. But the cool thing about that is that will likely be its own faction later on, obviously, for those of you that are Fallout fans. But you know, it's going to come down the pipe. There's a lot to cover inside of the universe of Fallout, but there were some small item cards to come in this one, so let's go ahead and take a look at what comes with the turrets. So these are the 4 cards that come inside the turret pack. You got the laser turret, the turret inhibitors, and the machine gun turret MK1, plus one of the cards here that is totally customizable again, so you could use that however you wish. Now check this guy out. This guy's known as the Behemoth, and as of the first wave, this is the largest miniature inside of Fallout Wasteland Warfare, and definitely one of the guys you want to watch out for. This guy is swinging a full-on pipe connected to a fire hydrant. It is going to do some serious damage. You can see that the base is extremely detailed. The miniature itself is very detailed, and it's one of my favorite monsters from the Fallout universe. So this guy's massive. He also comes with a number of cards, and this is the only one of those clamshell boxes that actually comes with its own scenario as well. This is the scenario that comes inside the Behemoth clamshell box. So you've got the front here, the introduction, the battlefield setup. You got Invaders deployment team down here. The Behemoth is up there. The Jury Street Colossus is what this one is called. And if you flip it over on the opposite side, of course, you're going to get your scenario rules and victory conditions. So again, if you want to read what that scenario is all about, you can pause the screen in order to do so. So that covers the scenario that comes with it, and I always appreciate that. Actually, it's really nice to get a scenario inside those clamshell boxes. Most of them are for kind of the filler models within the universe of Fallout, but this one, the Behemoth, is certainly not a filler model. It is one of the biggest, baddest enemies currently available. We also have these 3 particular cards that come along with it, like all the others. So of course you got your character card, your AI card, and as well as a customizable card as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the small cards. This is pretty cool, a different mix-up of the cards that comes with the Behemoth one. So we have a leader card here, it says Fusilier. We have the perk card Locksmith, and we have the perk card, I love getting perks, Basher. Of course, they all correlate to what you'd expect from the video games and the universe itself. I guess we'll do items last. I always do items last. We have Junk Collection here and One Armed Bandit for the black labeled cards. Boost cards are the Special Skills card and the Extra Effort card. So those are the two boost cards. And then for items, we have 5. So we've got ourselves a telephone that can get you 5 caps, an armor pads that gives you some armor, of course, Sludge Hammer, awesome, Behemoth Rock Throw, that's bad, and of course it says right here Behemoth only, the only person that can use it, Fire Hydrant Bat. That is so cool. So that's the thing, and that club is literally one of the items in the game. That's just so awesome. All right, and that's going to wrap us right back around to the very beginning where we started with the Red Rocket Scenic set. And guys, this is honestly what I'll be focusing on. So when this video ends, I'm going to be diving into this set. I'm going to be putting it together. This set was created by Battle Systems connected with Modiphius. So the cool thing is I do have some familiarity with this system. I do have Battle Systems products already. So I'll be very, very able to kind of build this thing fairly quickly. And the cool thing is that I'll be able to also start working on washing the resin miniatures and getting them prepped for play. Now I'm not going to be able to paint these things for the playthrough because that would just require a lot of time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash them, because that's usually the first step with resin. You just got to clean them up, and then I'm going to get them all assembled with super glue, and then from that point on it's going to be a paint job for the future. But the playthrough will also be coming in the future as well. I don't have a pinned down time frame as to when it's going to happen, but I'm going to move towards getting you guys some content in as fast as possible in terms of at least the initial stages of what you would want to know about how to learn the game to see whether or not this is a fit for you. Because again, they've implemented a fantastic solo game into this that I've really read quite a bit about through their documentation that's available in electronic form online, and I really, really like it. I'm a fan of Fallout the IP, so there's a little bias there on my side because of that, but the fact that they actually put some blood, sweat, and tears into that settlement phase makes it not just one-shot out or one-shot scenarios that you're just doing and walking away from. There truly is a settlement phase that is carrying over and building, and you're losing as you go along through these scenarios. And there truly is quite a handful of these scenarios to go through. So I mean, if you played through all of them, you'd have covered a lot of ground. So it's going to be exciting to maybe talk about not only how to play this game, how to set it up, but also about the settlement phase, what it adds to the game, and stuff like that in terms of a solo play. So hopefully that'll be worth your while to watch. Hope you guys are excited for it. Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on maybe what you'd like to see and that type of thing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's obviously one of my largest or larger unboxing videos on the channel because there was so much stuff that came in, but it feels good to get through all of this and now be able to start organizing it. So thanks again for your support, guys, and as always, keep on rolling solo.